Good everyone, my name is Graphics. In this video, we want to reproduce the figure that is displayed at the right hand side of the screen using the principle of tangency to combine an ellipse and what? And a parabola. And the question that supports this diagram says the figure shows a design based on the fish. The curve ABCDE is based on ellipse with major axis 130 mm and a focal point. The line BP is tangential to the ellipse at point B. The curve QDR is based on a parabola with vertex D. Draw the given figure showing all construction lines. So the first thing you do in cases like this is to draw your horizontal line. Now, in drawing the horizontal line, you can use your T-square and you draw your line in this fashion. So this is the line here, and you can pick any point on that line. Let's say I am picking the point at this point here. Let's say this point I'm picking should be my point what? My point E, where my arrow is pointing. This point here, right? And the distance from point E to D is the length of what? Is the major axis of what? Of the ellipse. So from E to D, which is the major axis, is given to be 130, right? So what I'll just do here is I'm going to take my meter rule from this point, from 0 here, right? And I'll measure 130. This is 0 that we have here. Now go together, and this is 130. And half of 130 is what? 65. Can you see that? So this is my point what? My point D. And this is the center. So I'll draw a line across that center point here in this fashion. Right? So let me make it more visible. So this is what we have here. So this is point E, point D, as shown in the diagram here. Is that taken? Now we need to get the focus. And the focus, if you check from here, from E to F here, is given as what? 25. So I'm going to measure 25 millimeter from here, from 0, right, to this point here is what? 25. That's our what? Our focus F. Hope you can see that. So we've gotten F, meaning that if this point here is F, right, automatically this point here also will be F, because it is vertically symmetrical. So this is F point also. So I should just call it my F2 and I'll call it my what? My F1. Hope you can see that. Now, if I want to get my minor axis, because an ellipse has both major axis and a minor axis, this is what you're going to do. From the center point here, right, I'm going to take my compass to the end, which is E. Can you see that? And I'll place it at the focus here, and I'm going to strike an arc this way, up and down. How good now? If I won't place it here also, they're going to bisect each other at that point. So this point here will be the distance of what? Of the major axis. So let me just call that T and what? And Z. right? So the major axis is ED, the minor axis is what? TZ, and this is what? This is the focus, right? Now we can use different methods to construct our ellipse, but one of the method we can use here that I'll be using will be my focal point method, right? Now, the first stage is to divide between F1 and F2, right? You can use different method to do that. Start taking, but since I'll first of all measure this between F1 to F2, from F1 to F2 is given as we have 8, 80, and if I divide it into 8, meaning 10 millimeter each, so I'll just measure from here to here 10, right? Another 10 into 8 places. You can use it that way to divide it. I'm just showing you that into how many places 8. Just mark from 0 to 1 is 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point, 5, 6, 7, and what? 8. I'll just mark them here. For most cases, sometimes the distance between the two focus here, might be odd number that you cannot use your meter rule to what? To divide. So yeah, I implore you to make use of what? Line division method in order to do that, right? So I'll just take my meter rule using line division method, and I'll just draw a line at this manner here, this way. Can you see that? Then I'll take my compass. If I pick up my compass and I'm going to measure each of those 2 points, right? I'll place it here and I'll mark 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and what? And 8, right? And I'm going to join the last point here and the last point here. Hope you can see that. The last point here and the last point here, which is the focus. F2 to the last point here. Then I'll join them this way. Then since I've joined them, I'll not adjust it anymore. I'll just move another ruler or my set square and place it at this end here. So as I move this on this other set square, I'll go to the next point. I'll go to the next point. I'll go to the next point. This way. I'll go to the next point. This way. To the next point. This way. To the next point. To the next point. Right? So this is very important. Attract more mark for you. So I can just start from here and say here should be my 3, here should be 2, 1, and this is 0. Here should be 2, 1, and this is what? 0. Can you see that? Now, what I'll do is, I'll take my compass from D to 0, right? Wait at F2, I'll strike up, hit at F2, strike up, and strike down. That's what I mean. Is that taken? I'll come to F1 also, strike up, and I'll strike down. You can see that? Now since I move from D to 0, I will now move from E to that same 0 again. I'll come to my F1, I'll cut on that D to 0, that will give me my first point here. I'll cut it down also, that will give me my second point here. I'll change it again, place it at F2, I'll mark on that D to 0 here, up and down. So it will give me these 2 points here and what here. So we've gotten 4 points now. I'll come again from D to 1, right? I'll place it at my F2, I'll strike an arc up and down. I'll come to my F1, I'll strike an arc up and what? And down. You can see that? Then I'll come from E to what? To 2. E to 1 now, right? So play that F1 here. I'll strike on it, up and down. I'll come to F2 also. I'll strike up on that line and down. So this is where they meet. So I'm making 8 points now. I'll come again from D to 2, right? I'll place it at F2. I'll strike up and down. I'll come to F1. I'll strike up and down. So I'll come from E to the same 2, right? I'll come at F1. I'll strike up and down, having another 2 points here, this and this. Then I'll come to my F1. I'll strike up and down. So this is what we have, these 2 points here. So I've already had this point already from the beginning. Start taking, and I'm going to join all this point together with E and see how it goes. But before I do that, remember that there's a line from the focus, and that line is at angle of what? Angle of 25 degree. So from the focus here, I'm going to measure an angle of what? 25 degree. Hope you can see that. So this is 0, this is 10, 20, and this is 25 here. So I'll just draw a line from this point to that point, faint line. Hope you can see that. Now I'll take my French curve to join all those points now. Hope you can see that. Now I stop here because as the question suggests, we're stopping at this point. Then I'll do that for the down one here too. You can see that. And I can easily take in these 2 points from here to here. Then from here to here. Now the next thing is to draw a tangent to that point, right? So we've successfully gotten, this is point A here now. This is our new point A where it meets. Now we want to get point B where my arrow is pointing. That is where the line starts to become tangent. Is that okay? So what I'll do is point B is 20 millimeter away from E. So those are my arrows. So 20 millimeter away from E, and that is on the same line as what? As the focus. If you just measure from here is what? 25 millimeter away from E. So from 0 to this point is 25. So that means it is situated at this point here, right? So it should be here at this point. So this point here is my point what? Point B. So what I will just do is, from that particular point, I will draw a line to meet. This is how to draw a tangent to what? To an ellipse. From the focus here, draw a line that will touch the F1 from the point you want your tangent to be. Then from F2 to touch it also this way. Hope you can see that. Now you take your compass and you draw an angle from this point. Place at this point B. Then you strike an arc this way. So this point here, let me call it B prime, and here to be what? B prime prime. So from, you can extend it if you want to. From B prime now, here you strike an arc. From B prime prime also, you strike another arc. So where they meet, right? Let me call, you now draw a line from that point they meet to pass through faint line to pass through this point here. Hope you can see the faint line. Let me make it more visible. You can see that that is the normal, but we are not asked to draw the normal. What we have asked to do is what the tangent. So for you to draw the tangent, you just take your rule and ensure that I'm taking this zero line here now, so that the line of zero is aligning with this your normal here. So if I put it that way, so that it is aligning, ensure it aligns, right? Then you draw a line through those points, faint line first. So that is the faint line I will have, right? Now the next one is point P is along this line here, and C is on my what? My ellipse. Start taking, and to get points P and C, you move 85 millimeter away from E. That is 25 here plus 40 here plus 20 here will give us what? 85, right? So I'll measure 85 millimeter away from this point from 0. This is 85 here. That is on point 1. So I'll just draw a straight line up from point 1 here, right? From 1 here. This is what we need here. I just from here, I'm just taking it to this point. Where it touch here is my point C, and where it meets here is my point what? Point P. And I'm taking it, connecting point P to what? To B in this fashion. So you can see that? That is the fins of the what? Of the fish. Now, the next thing is to draw, this is the mouth of the fish here. The next thing to draw is what? Is the eyes of the fish. So the eyes of the fish is 25 millimeter away from the what? From point E. So from here to here, 125. So the eye is on this line here, right? Let me just make you understand that the eye is on this line here. This is where the eye is, 25 millimeter away from here, and the height its place is what? Is 30 millimeter, because from this point to this point here is 60. So half of it here is what? Is 30. So it's on the same line as that of what? The eyes of the fish. So I'm going to measure 30 millimeter upward. So I take my meter rule, I will measure 30 millimeter upward from 0 to 3 is what? Is 30 altogether. So this is the point 30 at this point here. So this is the point I'm going to draw my eyes of fish with a diameter of 10. So I'll measure diameter of 10 here from 0 to 5. We'll give it the radius. So I'll just place it at the center point here, and I'll draw the eyes. Right? I'll draw the eyes. That is the eyes there. Can you see that? Now the next thing now is for we to draw the tail. And the tail, we're drawing it based on what? A parabola. Right? So what you should just do is take your meter rule, place it on your T-square. You set complete your T-square and you draw a line tangential to this point here. You can see that. Now the height of the line, since the height is 60, so you're going to measure 30. I know that from here to this point is 30, right? And you place it here. You mark 30 up, 30 down. Start again, and you take your meter rule, your T-square, and you draw a line this way. And you come here also, you draw another line from here this way, right? Then the length here is given to be what? 50. And you measure the 50 that you want to measure here. So from 0 to what? To 50. Right? 0 to 50. This is 50 here. And you close it up. You can see that. So from here now, we know this is Q. and this is what arrow, this is what D, which you already know right from time. So what you should do, there are many things you can do here. You divide here into 8, just like the way you divided here. From here to here is 60, divided into 8. So what you should just do is just take your meter rule and you draw a line in this fashion. You draw a line in this fashion. Hope you can see that. Once you've drawn that line in this fashion, now you take your meter rule and you are going to start marking. From here, mark. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 at any given radius. Now what you do is you join the last point to this point here. Point arrow to the last point here, right? And connect it this way. Then you place something at this point here, maybe a rule, and you start sliding this. The more you slide it, go to the next point, right? This is the point. You slide again. This is the point. You slide again. This is the point. Slide again. This is the point. You slide. Another point. You keep sliding. Right? So this is what we have here. And once you've done that, you should be able to take your meter rule and you draw lines, parallel lines. First one, second one, faint line, third. You keep that way, like that, and like that, right? So you can start from 4. This is 4 here, right? And you do the same thing here too. You divide here into 4 also, right? So I can take my meter rule at any given radius, draw a line and divide it into what? Into 4. Can you see that? And with the same radius, you can mark 4 from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you join the last point here to this point, from arrow to the last point here. Hope you can see that. So I'll just join this. Then place my other meter rule on this edge here, and you move again, right? And you move again, and you move again. So once you've done that, you've gotten different points that you want. So now instead of repeating the same thing here, I'll just transfer the points. Just place your t square, your set square, your t square, move to this point, you mark, move to the next point also, you mark, move to the next point also, you mark. Can you see that? And you start drawing lines that will touch each of those points. From here, from D to arrow, from the next point to D, from the next point to here is D, from the next point to here is D, right? And you come here also, you do the same thing, from here to D, from here to D, from here to D, then from here to D. Can you see that? So what you do is, if this is 4, the next one is what? Is 3. So this point here is where 3 meet 3, and where 3 meet 3 here. The next one is 2, so here is what? Is a line of 3 here. here 2 is 3, less than is 2, so where the line of 2, this is the line of 2 here, where 2 meets 2 at this point. Here is 1, where 1 meets 1 is at this point, and here is 0, where 0 meets 0 is at this point. Right? Same thing applies here to this 3, this 2, 1, 0, and this is what? This is 4. So they are meeting themselves at this point, and this point here. So you use your French curve and you join all those points together. Right? I see that. And here is closed. So this is what we successfully done. This here is the parabola that represents the tail. This is the body of the fish represented by the ellipse, and the tangential line is what represents the what? The fins, right? So this is the mouth here. So if you have found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share the video. Thanks for watching.